OpenAI just dropped their agent builder, and honestly, it's pretty wild. You can now build agents with this drag and drop interface inside of OpenAI. But here's the thing that everyone's missing. The most important piece that actually makes this useful is how to connect this to literally any app that you would like. So by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly how I connected to over 500 apps to OpenAI's agent builder in just a few minutes. And I'm going to be showing you some use cases that are honestly going to blow your mind. So let's just jump right in. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to go to platform.openai.com/agent builder. Okay. And this is going to take you to the brand new agent builder. You can see we already have a workflow inside of here. What you guys will obviously be doing is creating your own workflow. So let's just go ahead and create a brand new workflow. We're going to start from scratch. So you guys see, this is the canvas where you can build out your agents. And what makes this very powerful is that you can design workflows and test them right away, run evaluations, and then actually publish these agents wherever you want. Your website, your apps, different servers, anywhere. So really quick, this is how it works. We are going to be seeing a start node right here. And this is just where your workflow begins. So if you've used N8N, Make.com, Zapier, it's very similar. So this is just where you can actually define what inputs that you want, whether that's going to be any text or maybe numbers or Boolean or objects, lists, whatever. So for this example, I'm just going to keep it simple and use the text input. So let's go back, save this, and just leave this as the default. Now, the real magic happens when you actually start adding agents. So I'm just going to click here and I'm going to add a new agent, or you can just use what we already have right here. But let's add this, connect that line, connect the dots and everything. So I'm just going to call this our lead qualifier agent. Now the idea is just when somebody fills out a form on my website, this agent is just going to automatically qualify them based on the responses. So in the instructions, I am just going to basically provide it and say like, you are an expert at qualifying, spelling things wrong, qualifying leads when a user provides information about their business, determine if they are a good fit based on budget, timeline, and needs. And you can see that we can enhance the prompt, add different messages, customize exactly how this behaves. But here's where things get a little interesting. You can change which model that this actually uses. So maybe you want to be using GPT-5, maybe you want a cheaper model for simpler tasks. You can adjust the reasoning effort, change the output format to maybe text, JSON, or even widgets. Beyond this, you can see we have the tools, and we'll touch more on this in a second, but you do have full control here. I'll also show you how you guys can be accessing different models. So if you do want to use maybe Perplexity or anything like that, I'll be showing you guys that as well. Now with this, here's the problem, and this is what nobody is really talking about. Out of the box, OpenAI's builder, it only connects to 8 different apps. So if we go into the tools, you go to MCP server, you can see there's only 8 different apps. So the very basic things like Gmail, Outlook, that sort of thing. And like that's very useful for basic stuff, but it's extremely limited if you're trying to build something that actually solves real problems and, build something that's going to be expansive. And this is where Rube comes in. And this is the game changer that most people are completely missing. Now, Rube is essentially just an MCP, a model context protocol. And this is just giving your agents access to over 500 apps and 50,000 different actions. So we're talking about Slack, Notion, Airtable, HubSpot, Salesforce, Stripe, literally everything that you can think of, Asana, all that. And the best part is that you connect it once and it works across all of your agents. So let me just show you how stupid easy this is actually to set up. So inside of our agent, I am just going to click on tools. I am going to go to the MCP server. Now we are just going to click on the server and we're going to insert the URL rube.app/MCP. Now you can give it a brief label, so just call it Rube or anything that you like. They do not use API keys. You will have to use a custom header. So this is where we're going to put authorization, and we're going to have to enter our authorization key. So we're going to type bearer, and let me show you how you can actually find your authorization key. So if you go sign up for Rube, I'll have a link down below in the description. It's completely free to start off with. We'll go into install Rube. go to authorization headers, and we're going to click on generate token. Now, whatever token that you are going to generate, you're going to insert right after your bearer. So that's all I did. I just pasted it within there. You can then connect and it's going to hook up for you. So as you guys can see, it's going to establish the connection. And now we have access to all these different tools. For the approval, we're just going to flip this to never require approval for any tool. And we're going to just add this. You can see we now have access to search tools, manage connections, create plans, all that sort of stuff. We're going to allow all of them and click on add. Boom. So now you have access to over 500 apps in one node. And this is what actually makes the agent builder super powerful. By the way, if you were getting any sort of value from this and you just wanted to go deeper on AI automation, I've got a free school community with almost 15,000 members, all people interested in AI automation and building stuff like this. We do weekly calls, competitions, share free templates, and honestly, it's just a great place to network and learn. Links in the description. It's completely free, so go check that out. But let's get back to the video. So let me just show you a use case that's actually going to make sense. So I am going to be building a content strategy system where multiple agents are going to work together to give me highly researched video ideas. So here is exactly how I am going to be setting this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a new agent node. So I'm just going to delete this and I'm going to click on the plus button and just drag in a new agent, connect that. And within this, what I'm going to say is you are a research specialist. When asked for video ideas, you need to, 1, use Perplexity to research current trending topics in the user's niche. 2, I want you to scrape Reddit and Twitter for viral discussions. 3, I want you to pull data from YouTube analytics to see what is performing well on similar channels. Okay, I'll put your findings in a structured format with trends, engagement, metrics, and content gaps. Now, here is the important part within this. So I'm just going to click on tools in this agent, and I am going to go back to our MCP server. It looks like it just got deleted out. Every time we add a new agent, I guess we have to add it once again. So let's just go to add the label, go back to custom headers, add the authorization, add our key once again, and we're just going to connect and give this a second to run through. And we will add this now. So what this is going to do, it's just going to give this specific agent access to Perplexity, social media scraping tools, and YouTube analytics, all through just one connection. Without Rube, I would have to build custom integrations for each of these. And with the release of OpenAI, I don't even think that's possible to do right now through HTTP requests or anything like that. I would have to build, very custom integrations for each of these, which would take hours, if not days. Now, I am going to be adding in a second agent. So this second agent, I'm just going to click on the plus button first. We're going to add an agent right here. Now within this, we want this to be we'll just call this audience insights agent. So in the instructions, I am going to say access the user's YouTube comments, email list responses, and community platform discussions. Look for, let's say, 1, common questions being asked. We'll say 2, problems people are struggling with. 3, requests for specific content. And we're just going to also say output a prioritized list of audience needs. Now, again, I'm just going to go down to the tools. I'm going to go to MCP server. We're going to add in Rube once again. I'm sure we could just duplicate our previous node, but this only takes a second anyways. Super easy setup. Add in our authorization, add in our key, click connect. It's going to grab all of our tools and we're going to run and add this. Awesome. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to add in a third agent. So this third agent, let's first add this. And this is going to be our strategy agent. So within the instructions, we're going to say you receive data from the research agent and the audience insights agent, right? Your job is to synthesize this information into 5 video concepts. For each concept, provide 1, a compelling title, 2, a hook for the first 10 seconds, and 3, why this will perform well based on the data, and 4, expected audience and engagement potential. Okay. All right. So with this, we don't really need to give it any external tools. It just needs the output from the other 2 agents. Now, here is how I'm going to be connecting all of these. So hypothetically, when I ask like, what should my next video be about? The research agent, it is going to fire off first, and then it is going to go to the audience insights agent, and then it is going to go to the strategy agent and synthesizes everything and gives me 5 video concepts with full breakdowns. But here's something that most people do not know about as well, is you can also be adding in a vector store to give your agents access to knowledge bases. So I'm just going to click on the file search or drag that in right there. Now within file store, you would have to add in your vector store from OpenAI. So either you have to use this or you have to be using an MCP where you can then use Supabase. But first, let's focus on this. What we would have to do within here, we would have to first actually create a vector store. So you can see I already have some knowledge bases within here. We can create a new one, just input a bunch of different information. So this is going to be our vector store, and we can attach different files. So like different documents or anything else like FAQs on your company or information about you, whatever it may be. If you want to upload previous video transcripts of yours, so it's trained on everything about your videos, you can do so. Now, if you wanted to use something different, like if you wanted to use Supabase, which is another super common form of vector databases, what you would have to do is you would have to create a brand new agent. And if we go within the agent, just describe what you wanted to do. So maybe just retrieve information from the knowledge base, and we will go to tools, MCP server, and we will just connect it once again. But if we go within Rube, we can go within the marketplace, and you guys will see if we just search up, you have Supabase right here. All you have to do is just connect your API keys and enable this app. It's a super simple process. You can use Composio. All you have to do is just connect through an OAuth application. So they make it dead simple for you. So hypothetically, let's just say that I have a database of all my past video performance data, all my competitor analysis, everything. I'm just going to then create the vector store or upload everything into Supabase, upload my files, and now I'm just going to essentially like set the query. Like in the query box, I'm going to type like find similar content performance data based on the research findings or whatever we want to find. Now, when the research agent finishes, it can pass everything to the finding. Maybe I should go back to the workflow, but it is then going to go through all the findings and then connect to our knowledge base right here. So let's just call this knowledge base, or this can also be known as our knowledge base. I don't think we can rename this, but that's okay. And this would make the output way more informed because it's not just looking at current trends. It would also consider what is working historically for you in particular. Now what we're going to do is we are going to be adding in some guardrails because you need to make sure that your agents do not go off the rails. So what we want to do is we can either select guardrails over here, or if you just want to connect a new node and click guardrails, I mean, it's kind of the same exact thing. So within this, we have some different options. So what I want to do is we can first, go through any jailbreaks. So you can look on this, what this is going to do. If someone tries to manipulate the agent into doing something it shouldn't, this is going to catch it. Now, the second guardrail, this is the hallucination check. With this is just verifying that the agent isn't making up any data or pulling facts out of thin air. So I'm going to set this to cross-reference against the vector store that we just set up. The third guardrail, this is going to be the output format validation. So this is just going to make sure that the strategy agent actually outputs in the format that I specified. So like 5 video concepts with titles and hooks and reasoning. And if any of these are guardrail fills, then I'm going to set it to stop and basically alert anybody instead of continuing with bad data. So this is crucial if you're building something for maybe your clients or you're going to be using this in production. Very important. Now, let's add some logic to actually make this smarter. So I'm going to click on the if or else. We can just connect this up as well. So, and we can even drop this into a different section. So if we want to add this like right after the audience insights, we can definitely do so. So we can connect this right here instead of connecting this to the guardrails. So we would just have to connect that right there. Okay, and then we can connect some different things after this condition node. So here's what I'm going to set up. If the audience insights shows high demand for beginner content, we want to route to a beginner content strategy. And if they show demand for like advanced content, then we can route to an advanced content strategy agent. So I'm going to click into the condition right here. Now the condition, what I'm going to set is I'm just going to type out like if the audience insights, if this is equaling or containing like beginner or getting started or tutorial, or we'd actually probably have to enter it into two different pieces. Okay, so if audience insights is equaling tutorial or anything like that, then what we would do is we would go down this route, or if we wanted to go down a different route, then we would connect it to like anything else. All right, so let's say that you have built this entire thing out. Now you actually want to publish it. So what we are going to do is we are just going to go up to the top up at publish, and we're going to just call this whatever we want. We'll call it demo for sake of this video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out. I am going to go into our demo. Now, once you actually publish it, OpenAI gives you two different options. So if we go into the code, what you can actually do, and this is where it's going to get very interesting, is you can use the agent SDK, and essentially you can just copy the code to embed this on your website, or you can use like ChatKit. And this is just their no code option for adding this to any domain. And where it gets even more interesting, for people trying to make money within this, you can put these agents, as you can see, like the agent SDK is failing to generate, but just a simple bug that will be fixed, I'm sure, shortly. But you can put these agents behind a paywall. So like you can charge clients monthly access to custom agents that run their workflows. So you're not selling like these one-off automations anymore. You're selling AI powered products that run continuously. And that's a completely different business model. Now, with all of this being said, I just wanted to quickly mention that we are running a 3-day AI agency challenge where we literally walk you through building your first automation, setting up your offer, and getting your first clients. It's just $47. It's super practical, no fluff. Links down in the description if you want in. We've had people book in their first calls with clients within the first week of going through it. But let's just get back into it and finish this off. So this is actually one of the coolest features that I want to show off. If we go in the back section and we just, let's go into a different workflow. Let's go to evaluate right here. Now within this, what we can actually do is set up automatic graders that is going to test your agent's performance. So I can add criterias like within the grader. I can just say like, is the output professional? We can add this. We can add another one like, are all 5 video concepts provided? We'll add this, and we can add another one like, does each concept include a title, hook, and reasoning? And what we would do this, if we were to run all of these, we might get an error right now because everything's not set up properly. But what is happening is it is going to run through the conversation that your agent has had, and it's going to grade them all automatically. And this is how you actually make sure that your stuff actually works before you are going to be putting it in front of real users. So it is testing it. So let me give you another quick use case. Like let's say you run a content agency and you want to automate production maybe. So what we can do is we would build a content production agent that basically works like a client submits a request through a form. And then the agent, it is going to basically pull the brief from your project management tool, generate an outline maybe, and then send it to the client for some sort of approval. And once approved, it's going to schedule the tasks, updates tracking, and send reminders. All because Rube connects your agent to the project management tool. It's email, it's team chat, everything. And this is all just one connection, all done for you. So look, if you're sitting here thinking like this is cool, but I cannot code, let me just be clear. You do not need to know how to code. You do not need to have a technical background within this. It is super easy to set up. It's entirely visual. You're just literally just dragging nodes. Now, just a quick disclaimer with all of this agent builder, it is still in its beta. So there will obviously be bugs, things will change, features will get added, but the core is already pretty solid. And when you combine it with Rube, you are basically building with superpowers that most people do not even know exist. So here is my challenge. Pick one thing that you do manually every single day in your business, whether that is qualifying leads or onboarding clients or writing back on support tickets, whatever. Build an agent for it using Agent Builder and Rube and just see how much time you actually save. And I guarantee you, you will see this actually working. You are going to want to automate everything. So with that being said, make sure to sign up for all of this. It's all going to be free to start. And honestly, things like Rube, it's the missing piece that makes agent builders actually useful. But that's it. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you're going to be building with this. Also, join my free school community or my 3-day AI challenge if you're looking to actually start building an AI business the right way. And I will see you guys in the next one.